What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our Sunday, June 30th edition of our MLB live stream. Going to look at a couple MLB games we have on a slate, a full Sunday slate we have going here. Obviously, we had the NBA draft this past weekend. Most people saying that was a pretty underwhelming NBA draft. I thought it was one of the more entertaining ones to actually watch. And anytime people kind of hate on a draft class like that, I'm always rooting for immediately. Like, I hope those top three picks are all studs, but like I think even your Celtics, Shireman at 30. I love what the Timberwolves did with getting Dillingham and what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Terrence Shannon Jr. later in the first
Mm.
round. I think there was a lot of good picks. I think that was it wasn't a very top heavy draft, but it was such a deep draft. Like Celtics getting him at 30. Some of the guys going Kyle Filipowski, the second pick of the second round. I'm excited. I think those NBA draft prospects will work out. I'm excited for summer league to get started as well. That's just around the corner as well. I always forget about that until it sneaks up on me when the draft comes. But couple MLB games here today. Just me and Ace, no Mackey. Let's see what we got. We're gonna start out with. Let's see, where did I send that list? We're going to start out with the Marlins at the Phillies. Phillies have Ranger Suarez on the mound, and I think it's Chirinos for the Marlins. I never know how to pronounce his name. Phillies a minus 300 money line, Marlins plus 240 on the money line. Obviously, Phillies minus 1.5 at the minus 135, and the over under at 8. Ace, I think it was yesterday you took the Phillies minus the 1.5. Are you going to do it again today?
No, it was a couple days ago. We took them when they won 2-0. Mackie and I threw them on. They were minus 1.5 plus 100. So they covered that one by the skin of their teeth. But a
I didn't
win's a
even see
win.
they lost yesterday.
Yeah, the Marlins ended up winning 3-2. Comeback win by Josh Bell and the boys. So that was pretty exciting to see. And then
Marlins are winning
yeah,
this series 2-1 right now.
Yeah, they've taken 2 out of 3 so far in Philly too, which is pretty crazy to see. And you're right, Yadny Chirinos, even though he's got that weird name, he's only made 3 starts this year on the season after coming off the IL. He's looked pretty good in doing so. However, I'd like to think the Phillies split the series at home. Ranger Suarez has been one of the more electric stories for the MLB in this season with a 1.83 ERA on his way to his first All-Star game, in my opinion. And the Phillies love voting in their guys that fan vote. It's a whole different story. But I honestly like the Phillies here to get the job done. Minus 1.5 is a steep price, so I don't think I'm going to card it. But they should be able to hang on to these Marlins. Marlins looking for the 31st win of the year. I don't think it comes today, but a good series in Philly nonetheless by this Marlins squad that's been pretty lowly this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Phillies would be a good parlay piece. It's just minus 300 is a little steep. I saw in couple, at least on FanDuel. I'm looking at MGM right now. I saw on FanDuel it was minus 255. Let me see what the best line. Yeah, minus 250 is the best line on the Phillies. So if you can
And
get
it's
it
still
closer
so
to that,
steep. So
yeah,
steep too. Marlins coming back to life a little bit too. I mean, obviously they're way out of it, and they're really looking towards
it's
next year,
more just
especially with
Suarez on the bump, and that team at home. I don't think they
yeah.
lose 3 out of 4 to the Marlins.
Yeah, and Yadi Chirinos, I know he's been pitching well, so maybe that first half you stay away
Is
from
that a
some of the
division rival?
fastball.
Are they in both in the?
Yeah, that's NL East right there. I
Yeah,
mean,
I always forget the Marlins are in the East because they're just so irrelevant every year.
yeah, they haven't been relevant since Jose Fernandez, Marcell Ozuna,
I
and
mean, they were in
Christian
the
Yelich.
weren't they in the playoffs last year?
Not last year, no.
Year before?
Yeah, maybe not.
When they got smoked by the Phillies, when Bryson Stott hit that home run, that was a playoff game against the Marlins.
Yeah, that may have been a few years ago now, but ever since they've moved on, they're still looking to rebuild, and they're so banged up this year. It's not really uh, anything to be worried about. But that guy Tanner Scott, he's been doing his thing on the mound for him, back on the closing role, locking it down, and they got a lot of pieces they're going to trade. So that's more what I'm excited for the Marlins is what they can do at the deadline, who they're shipping out, where they're going. But Phillies, they got this one today. I think they cover the run line too, but we'll have to see. Not going to be
Yeah.
on our card though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I agree. They're a little bit steep, but we'll get into our next game. Padres at the Red Sox. Padres with an 11-1 win yesterday. Do your Red Sox bounce back today as a minus 120 favorite? Padres plus 100 on the money line. Sox minus 1.5 is plus 150, and the over under at 10 up there in Fenway. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty even series here. The Padres coming in and kind of handling business against us, just outscoring us 20-3 in 2 games so far, which is not something you like to see. And it was against Tanner Houck yesterday on the mound for the Red Sox, so that's not very good. Our ace with the second best ERA in the league coming into yesterday.
That happens every once in a while. Like,
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? But also, the thing you got to look at is Michael King on the mound for the Padres. I've been taking his K props. I know you've seen that a few times this year. He's a Warwick, Rhode Island native, went to Bishop Hendricken here, the big primetime athletic school in Rhode Island.
did he go yesterday?
Yeah, he threw a gem yesterday. Quality start, 6 innings, bunch of Ks, 1 earned. Got the win. So the hometown guy probably should have figured he was going to throw well there. But today they got Matt Waldron. I don't know if you've seen him pitch at all this year, going for the Padres. He's the knuckleballer
I
out
was
there in
gonna say,
San
I just know
Diego.
they have some guy that everyone freaks out about because he's like the only knuckleballer in the MLB.
Yeah, and he's actually pretty good. He's in his rookie year. He's having a good campaign. I think he's pretty entertaining to watch. But we got Josh Winkowski making a spot start for us on the other side. It's a Sunday baseball game, so I'm not too confident in either side. Red Sox pitching staff, I'm much more confident with Cutter or usually Houck and Pavetta, even though they got shelled lately. But I'm
Yeah,
probably staying away on this one because I like my Red Sox. But with that value on the Padres, looking for a sweep in Fenway. But what do you think? The two pretty similar teams on the year here. 3 games separating them, both looking for a wild card bid. I'd like to think the Red Sox get at least one in the series and don't get swept on home turf.
I
But
I kind of
good
like the
value.
over. I kind of like the over in this game. We've seen, like you said, you pointed out the run scoring for the Padres the past 2 games, 11-1, and then what was it the night before?
Nine to
Nine to
two.
two. Yeah, I mean that over would have hit in both games. I think it'll be another high scoring game. I like the Red Sox to put up a couple of runs as well. I even think they could win this game, maybe 6-5, 7-5, get up there. But I do like the over on this one. I don't know if I'll take it, but I like that
I think
spot,
that
especially
that
with the
line's
runs that
more
we've seen
so.
all weekend.
That line's more so the Red Sox don't get swept because they're coming in at minus 125 on the money line. And I
Yeah.
know Winkowski's pretty
That
good
means
when he.
that means they don't actually think the Red Sox are going to win. That just means they think they don't get swept. Like,
Yeah,
does that make sense?
yeah, I agree with you completely. And it's tough though.
Like,
I'm
if
probably
they
gonna.
won yesterday, this would be like a minus 105, minus 115 for the Padres.
Yeah, I'm probably staying away on this one too, sadly. I like some other games on the slate today, but this is just a tough spot. And if the value is there for the Padres to get the job done, but the Red Sox have been pesky this year and they don't lose too many in a row, still above 500. So I'm going to say the Red Sox get the job done, but I'm not my most confident pick of the day.
Yeah. We'll go to the division rival New York Yankees at the Toronto Blue Jays. Garrett Cole versus Kevin Gossman on the mound. Yankees get the slight edge similar to that Red Sox game and minus 120 favorite on the road. Blue Jays a plus 100 home dog with an over-under at 8 on this game. I'll start us out here. I'm obviously the Yankee supporter, Cole guy, but he has not looked like himself to start this year. They obviously, the first start he got out there, he got pulled a little early, didn't really give him much of a chance to get out of it. The last spot against the Mets, that wasn't a good spot for him to go in. He's played some pretty good teams. A good pitching matchup here today against Gossman. I like to think the Yankees get it done, but I've lost both of his starts now. I've bet on
Hmm.
the Yankees money line and I've lost, so I don't know if I can do it today. But I also can't go on the Blue Jays because if I go against him, I'm just going to be pissed whenever he pitches a quality start gem. But I'd like to think the Yankees get it done here today. Like you said, I have a couple other plays that I like. Just the games that I picked were more like the top matchups.
Yeah, good matchups today.
Yeah, so I like the Yankees in this spot, but I don't know if I'll be taking it. The minus 120, that's great value on the Yankees, though. Division rival, it's not a far road trip. Obviously, they know that Blue Jays team. I think that's good value on the Yankees, and you're not going to see minus 120 with Garrett Cole very often.
Yeah, and what you're saying with Garrett Cole is completely right. I mean, he's just a stud in the league, but since he's came back, he hasn't been trustworthy. And if I were you, I would stay away on that Cole train until proven that he's ready to go again. I mean, he's sitting at 0-1 with a 9 ERA. I know it's through 2 starts and a minimum of 8 innings pitched. But like you said, Gausman on the other side, he's not having the best year, but he's a great pitcher nonetheless. And this series looking to get even up by the Blue Jays at home. It's a very close to the money line, division rivals. Blue Jays looking to get back into the wild card race somehow, sitting 6 games on their 500. And if you've noticed, listen to these totals in the game so far between these two this year's 11, 21, 12. So they've been going super high. It's sitting
Yeah,
at 7.5 today. Um, it's tough with those pitchers on the mound. I like the value in the Blue Jays today. I think Gausman's able to have a good game. And those bads for the Blue Jays are finally starting to come alive. We saw George Springer have a big series already so far. The Yankees, we know what they can do, but they have a lot of guys hurt. I don't think Juan Soto's playing today, so that's pretty important to note. That guy Ben Rice was batting second for the Yankees yesterday. That's a very different Yankees lineup than we're used to
yeah,
seeing. But they did get the job done 9-3. Another tough game, like you said, but a very good one. This could be my top game on the slate today with this pitching matchup. But then again, we haven't seen the Cole yet, so maybe that over 7.5 is something to look at. I actually like over 7.5 today. I know no Soto, I know two great pitchers, but with two good offenses, I think they're able to put some more runs up and continue this high scoring series.
yeah. I can see this be 2-2 in the third inning.
Yeah,
Especially
and
the way
then
Cole's been pitching. He hasn't been starting well. He's been giving up runs in the first and second inning.
And with the bats on both sides, if it does get to the bullpens early, we know it's going to blow up, just like it
Yeah,
has been the whole series. So
yeah,
I think seven's such a low number, and I know they're respecting the aces that they are, but I like runs to happen just because these two offenses are so good.
yeah. Let me see here. Trying to find something. Okay. Next game's Cubs Brewers. Chicago heading to Milwaukee. Chicago getting the win yesterday. Milwaukee getting the win on Friday. So this game is for the series in this one divisional matchup here in the NL Central. The Brewers are a minus 185 favorite with the Cubs plus 150 with Kyle Hendricks on the mound going up against Peralta for the Brewers. Brewers minus 125 is plus 120 and the over under also at 8 for this game. I'm big on this Brewers team. I wish I would have taken that future on them to win the NL Central whenever I said
Hmm.
that, but I don't think I know the Cardinals are kind of close to them. There's no way the Cardinals will catch them. I
No.
just think pending injury that the Brewers it's their division to lose. And I wish I would have snagged that at the plus 105, but I'm big on the Brewers to win today and win this series at home. I'm going to take them on the money line. I have them in a two-legger. I had them with Philly, but I don't know. You kind of talked me out of that. I might be looking for another leg to put the Brewers with.
Yeah, I really like the Brewers here too, and that Cubs offense has been putrid the last few months. I know they won last night, but early on they looked like one of the best teams in the league. Those Cubs looked like they're going to push for that NL Central, and I know they're not far out of it now, and they're not far out of a wild card spot with the way the NL kind of stands. But I think that the Brewers are able to get it done. They have one of their aces going today. I think Peralta's one of my favorite pitchers they got out there in
Yeah,
Milwaukee,
for sure.
and the way this rivalry goes, two division rivals again, kind of like the Yankees and the Blue Jays. I think that they split the series here, right, 2-1 Cubs. So I think that the Brewers are able to win this one today. On home field, I think their bats just keep going. They're just so stacked. Jackson Churio, right? He's a pretty good piece that they got out
Mhm.
there. Um, yeah, give me the Brewers today. I like that line. It's a little bit steeper than I'd like. Maybe I look at the 1.5. You get some positive value there. But I think Peralta's able to handle things. Hendricks, he's been good of late, but been terrible on the year. So over 8.5 is where it's sitting at. Maybe I look at a Brewers team total over, but I think the Brew Crew's able to get the job done and continue winning. Looking for their 50th win today on a Sunday at home. Would it make more sense than to do it today? Cubs going for their 40th, but I think they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Give me Contreras, give me Adames, give me the rest of that Brewers team to get the job done behind Peralta today. Minus 1.5, coming around plus 120. Shop your book, but that could potentially be on my card today.
Yeah, I see plus 120 right here on MGM. So I like that. I'm probably going to go ahead with the Brewers on a money line and a two-legger today. But the last game on our slate that we have, obviously, we have a couple more games that we can get into as well. But Sunday Night Baseball is the Texas Rangers at the Baltimore Orioles. Andrew Heaney versus, I think it's Cole Irvin. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
Cole Irvin.
Going for the Orioles. Orioles at home here. A minus 160 favorite on MGM with the Rangers at plus 135. Over under at 9. Orioles minus 1.5 at plus 115. And I think I found the second leg I like for my
Hmm.
two-legger. I'm going to go with the Orioles on Sunday Night Baseball to get a win here.
Yeah, Heaney's been erratic all year long. I know he settled down a little bit, but he's still sitting with that 2.9 ERA, back of the rotation for the Texas Rangers. Cole Irvin got lit up the last time out. That's the one thing to be weary of. Mackie and I had him on the card. If you remember that crazy Orioles Guardians game where it was like 9-6 in the second inning.
I usually
So
look
this,
at spots like that though, like a Sunday Night Baseball. Like his last start, he got shelled. His
yeah,
next start's on home, and
this
Sunday Night Baseball. I love this spot for him.
Yeah, me too. And it is a tough offense, though. I mean, Adolis Garcia hitting a lot of home runs on the year. I don't know if Corey Seager's playing. I don't know if you saw yesterday. Orioles hit him right in his hand,
Yeah,
so
I
he
did see that.
could be missing some time. I think both these offenses can get going. I like over 8.5 more than I like any side in this one, just because of the steep price for the Orioles. But you can never go wrong with putting the Baltimore Orioles in there. 53 wins on a minus 1.5 money line against a weak pitcher, as the Rangers are looking to right the ship on the season. Orioles
Brewers
at
Brewers Orioles. I have it my bet slip right now. I'm probably gonna take this. It's plus 152.
Yeah, that's not a bad bet at all. Both on home turf, both going against weaker teams, both with the better pitcher in the matchup. I just think the offenses are hot for both here. I think the Orioles roll here today on offense. Cole Irvin hopefully does right the ship, but like I said, Texas has some fire bats that they can get going. And look at those young guys that the Orioles have brought up. I don't know if you've been paying attention. I know they have everybody. They brought up Jackson Holiday earlier in the year, and he got all the hype. But now Kirsten Kierstead, I think that's how you say
Yeah, I
his
was gonna
name.
say Kierstead. He hit a home run last night.
He had a pinch hit grand slam actually,
Yeah, it was a
but
grand slam. Yeah.
yeah, pinch hit. He didn't even start in the lineup. It was Colton Cowser who he came in for, another rookie who's making his season debut this year, but he's been solid as well. It's been home run fest for that team. A lot of those guys are going to the All-Star game too. Got to think those bats stay hot. They're just so loaded. I wonder what the lineup restrictions will look like, but it is Sunday Night Baseball, so maybe we get a little bit of leeway since it's not a typical Sunday game. Would like to see Gunnar and Adley playing. If they had the full lineup, I'd like to think that they pound this Rangers pitching staff. But my team total on that, maybe you look at a couple home run props. If there ever was a home run prop to look at, it'd be for the Baltimore Orioles because they hit them out every night. I
Let me
think
see
there's
what
something saying they've hit over 60 home runs in the month of June, 50 home runs in the month of June. That team's just mashing right now.
I'm gonna see if I can find a team total for the Orioles.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's probably 5. I'm gonna say it's 5
Four and a
is my
half.
guess. Yeah, sounds about right, and that's pretty low against Andrew Keeney. I know he's been pitching a lot better, but that's been too much. Yeah, you can find him at -152. Good lines in the Orioles today. -120 for over 4.5. I kind of like that.
I see -118 on FanDuel. That's where I was making that parlay.
Yeah, that might be something interesting to look at if you want to go with a little side bet too, a little side bet action. But that should be a pretty good game. That one's on ESPN. Sunday Night Baseball is always electric, and
Yeah.
whenever you can get Orioles are my favorite team, and not my favorite, but my pick in the AL to go pretty far this year. So I think they're able to get it done. But there's actually a lot of other good games on the slate today. You want to know something funny? I don't know if you noticed this. Your Pirates today, they're playing on Roku. Is the game that is who's broadcasting this game between them
And
and
it's
the
at
Braves?
11:30.
Yeah, that's strange to me. I wonder if anybody's even going to be watching that. I mean, I have a Roku, so I can just throw it on, I guess. But in that pitching matchup too, it's Feltner and Schwellenbach. So I like a
Yeah.
lot of runs there. I think there's double-digit runs. The over 9.5 sitting at +110. That could be one of my favorite bets of the day. A couple other quick ones to mention: the Astros and Mets. They had an electric game last night. The Mets blew a 2-run lead in the 8th inning. Astros put up 5 runs in the last 2, and they're both sitting at 500 now. Mets at 40 and 40, Astros at 41 and 41. The Mets de facto ace and Luis Severino on the mound going, and that's a -140 money line for them. I do think the bats stay hot, but I'm not too confident in Dubin getting the win for the Astros. So that'll be a fun one to watch too. I know Mackey's been all over them.
What do you think, Dodgers Giants?
Love the Dodgers here. They've been just handling. I know that the Giants had the walk-off 2 nights ago, but that was a crazy win, and they had Logan Webb on the mound, so they were able to squeak that out. I don't know if you followed the game yesterday, but that was like a 5-5 game, and then
I fell
6
asleep. I didn't see extras. I saw it this morning on
6-6, and then it
SportsCenter.
ends 14-7 in extra innings. That's craziness. Dodgers just exploded, and I don't think there's any stopping them now. I think that's going to really open the floodgates. They have James Paxton going today. Giants haven't even announced who's on the tip for them. So Paxton's sitting at 7-1 with a 3.3 ERA on the year. I think he's looking to stay in that rotation and pitch for the contending Dodgers with all their guys coming back. I know Bueller's on the
Yeah.
shelf right now and a few others. Kershaw
They're so deep. They push injuries off like more than any other team
because
they
they
have so much
can,
depth. Yeah.
and they know they're going to be
That
there.
Knack guy that came up, he's doing good for
Landon
them.
Knack. I've had him in my fantasy league for
I
2
picked
years
him
now.
up as well. Yeah.
I've been holding him in my minor spot, and he just comes and does his thing. Can't really pitch deep into the games yet, but he's only 25 years old. Maybe
He's good for like 4 innings, but less than a run.
Yeah, high strikeout rate too. He's
Yeah.
fun to watch. I don't know if you've seen him at all, but James Paxton, like I said, sitting at 7-1. I like the Dodgers whenever I can get them at good value, and they're -1.5, +122. So I think that's a secondary parlay piece. Tigers blew us on the card yesterday. We're gonna have to make up some ground after a tough day.
Yeah.
Tigers, Rockies. I know those are bad teams. You don't see them too much in our cards, but we had good pitching matchups, good spots, but they blew up late. So gonna have to dive deeper and find one. Angels got the job done on home turf. Twins and Mariners. I couldn't believe I didn't take Pablo Lopez against the Mariners. They're the highest strikeout team in the league.
I had
Whenever
them
you
last
see that-
night. Yeah.
Yeah, and I take those Lopez K totals. He's one of my favorites. It was close to leading the league last year in it, behind Spencer Strider only, I think. And he put up 9 yesterday. But today they got Joe Ryan going against the Mariners. So you'd like to think that he can do the same thing. Both teams sitting at almost 47
I'm
wins.
big on this. I'm big on this Mariners team, and I think the Twins get another win today.
Agreed, same. And this is a even line. Everybody knows it. It's Castillo and Joe Ryan, though. This could actually be the game of the day. These are 2 of the best teams in the league, hot offenses, and then 2 stud pitchers on the mound. This is going to be my favorite one to watch. In that 7.5, like I think it goes under, but if it blows up late with the bullpens or goes to extras, you never know. So I'm staying away and just watching that one as a fan, but I think that could be game of the day. I thought it was Blue Jays and Yankees, but it's probably going to be Twins and Mariners. Joe Ryan versus Luis Castillo. Both teams looking to jump ahead of each other as they lead their respective divisions. 2 teams that should be in postseason play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, the Twins don't lead their division, but they're in a playoff spot for sure.
Do you have any other ones you want to get into? I think we kind of went
Yeah,
through
we went
most of
through
them.
the whole slate pretty much. Brandon Fatt going for the D-backs. I'm a fan of his. I like him to get right against the A's and kind of bring down that season average. I had the Reds yesterday. They went up against Sonny Gray. They were plus 180. Didn't send that in, but took it lightly. Almost sent that on the card, but I was like, it was Cole Spears, the rookie on the mound. They ended up crushing the Cardinals 9-3. Rockies and the White Sox. Garrett Crochet pitching. I'm a fan of him. This is another good one. The Royals and the Guards, a 46-win team and a 52-win team, both looking to push for that division. Logan Allen on the mound there at plus 110. These Guardians get so disrespected on the money line, but rightfully so against Seth Lugo's had a good year. So
Yeah.
I and then I like the Rays. I like the Rays minus 1.5. I might throw that on a card. Anytime I see Patrick Corbin pitching for the Nats, I like to go against them. So I think those bats for the Rays can get going, especially with Taj Bradley, the youngin on the mound. So a lot of good stuff. We'll get a card out today. I'll send my plays in, but a lot of great games that I might not touch too much, and a couple of unbalanced ones that I'd like to feast on. So got to shop those books
I
and get
do
on.
like that Rays play. I didn't really look at that game much.
Patrick Corbin's a bum. Whenever I see him on the mound, he's 1-7 with that high ERA. That lefty,
I
he can
took the
get.
Rays yesterday and they fucking blew it late.
Yeah, but maybe you take a first five or a team total then, just because of that Patrick Corbin. Because sometimes Taj Bradley boils up too. He's really young in his career. He's had injury problems, so he's not 100% locked to throw a gem. But I think the bats should be fine to get to Corbin today. A lot of tape on that guy too of getting beat around. He's been getting beat up for the Nats the last few
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely get a play out there. Make sure you're staying tuned to the social media. We'll get some probably what time these games? I know the Pirates start at 11:30.
11:30. Unless we take the over there. That's the only thing I'm
Yeah, I
worried
don't.
about.
I was gonna say I don't necessarily have a specific play on that. If you like that over, then do you want that to be on there? We can definitely work that out. But 11:30 for that game. Yeah, 1:30 after that. I see. So we'll definitely get some plays out there. Make sure you're staying tuned to the social media. Everything other than that, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys this week.
Yeah, good week here, boys. I mean, I gotta go catch up on some sleep after watching those good UFC fights last night. And like I was telling you earlier, so we watched that we'll get into a little UFC here, but it was Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. That was a great fight. Two light heavyweights going at it. So big knockout there in the second round. So that's always cool to see. But earlier on the co-main card, it was a couple of featherweights, and it was Danny Ige. He got called day of the fight, like hours before it even happened, because Ortega dropped out. He still showed up and he went the distance. It went the full 3 rounds. It went to decision, and he ended up winning the third round. He almost got that late knockout against Lopez, but Lopez just the better fighter and was able to win it on the card 29-28. So some good fights there. Conor McGregor not on any card anytime soon, so we'll have to keep you updated. If we got anything good, we'll make sure to tune you in. But I stayed up late watching that one, so I had to shout that out real quick. Some good action over there by Dana White's boys.
Absolutely. Yeah, like we said, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys later this week.